This special session finance meeting together for this committee. Let Senator Orrock get this taken care of, I guess, then Senator Albers, would you do our invocation today?
Be my pleasure. Please bow your heads. Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for this opportunity to serve you. We just ask you give us your wisdom and your guidance as we do the people's work here for the state of Georgia. In your most holy name we pray. Amen.
Our new commissioner of the Department of Revenue is here, and I've been in a lot of meetings with her, but I don't think she's ever been to a finance meeting before. So if you want to come up and just have a seat and just introduce yourself and make sure everybody knows who you are, we would appreciate it. I'll turn the mic on there.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry I laughed at Senator Jackson over here, said I look familiar. My name is Robin Crittenden, and as the chairman said, I'm commissioner at the Department of Revenue. I've been there since July 1st, and I know many of you, but I don't think all of you. For the last 6 years, for most of the last 6 years, I've been commissioner at the Department of Human Services, except for a little more than 2 months when I served as Secretary of State. So it is truly a pleasure to it's truly a pleasure to be here with you today. And I just want to thank you very much for considering these updates to the Internal Revenue Code. I know that you don't usually do these at this point. You don't normally have a special session, but it is really a help to us and therefore a help to citizens of the state if we're able to do these and do the programming necessary to have them in place. I can't promise you that we might not have to come back in January with a few more, depending on what comes through from federal side in this last month or so. But this is a huge piece, and that part would have required some significant programming changes that could have caused us to delay the acceptance of taxes or had people have to file amendments. And so we really appreciate it and see this as a huge convenience for the citizens of the state. So thank you very much. Thank you.
And I will add, you seem to be doing better on revenue than all those other guys. So whatever you've been doing, keep it up.
We're doing well. We're doing well.
We appreciate you being here. And as she stated, the items we're looking at today, the one item in particular is we're trying to get caught up a little bit on this code, so that usually we're passing something out in February or March and people have already started filing in January. This is a good opportunity to be ahead of it so that the CPAs are happy and the Department of Revenue is happy and all those people that sell software are happy. And it's much easier on the taxpayers to not have the confusion of potentially sending in modified amended returns later on to make up for some of these things. So with that, let's see, I should have looked and seen in whatever we had it. Let's go ahead and do the executive order first. And we passed this out before. There was some question, I think maybe it's been done both ways in the past. There's some question about whether it should come over from the House side to us, or we both passed joint resolutions. Our original understanding was that we just passed joint resolutions and everything's good. But out of an abundance of caution, we're asked to ratify the one that the House did. So this is the exact same thing that we did before. The gas tax was suspended for 23 days and that they suspend the collection of it for 23 days. And if we don't go back and ratify this, then we have to go back and collect it from all those citizens in your district that we don't want to. So with that, I hope since we've already done this once, there's not a lot of discussion, but we can see. So you got a motion and second from Senator Orrock. Any discussion? And I guess we better make sure we quote the numbers on this. So yeah. I could have had you read it off here, but this is LC 432121-EC House Resolution 3EX is what we're voting on here. So we've got a motion, a second. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Nobody wants to raise gas prices in their district, it sounds like, so it's unanimous. So then the second item here, I think everybody has a summary sheet on, and sometimes it helps to hear it 2 or 3 times. And actually, I sent these out to, I think, everybody on the committee. I even got one to pull it out of their trash, a week later. But everybody got this in a couple of weeks before we met, and I'm sure it's been the sole topic of discussion in your households, and you've studied it and all like that. So I don't think there's any questions with everything out. But this is the one that the commissioner talked about, which would be following the federal government when they had updated the federal tax code months ago, and we would simply be, essentially matching their code. The big item is they got more generous on the child tax care credit. We've been doing that at 30%. So this would be matching what they did. And they've extended that for 1 year. So we're doing the same thing, extending it for 1 year. If we were to go ahead, and they decide they're going to do it another year, well, that's another discussion for another year. But there's different items on here, but that's really the meat of it, would be that one item. We've got John Foster from the Department of Revenue on Zoom if we have any questions of him that prepared this. I know Don Cook from the Georgia Society of CPAs is here. But before I do all that, in interest of everybody's time, if there's no questions and everybody's ready to move ahead, you've all studied it at home. Senator Jackson, your number, what, 10?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, after hearing from the commissioner, I recommend do pass of House Bill 7EX LC 432124.
Okay, and we've got a second from Senator Cowser to, oh, you got a question? Okay,
I'm not opposed to it, but I'd like to
Sure.
make sure I understand. It's possible for me to read the micro script here, but I
Yeah.
want to make sure. It seems like to me, this is reiterating that those, I can't remember, I think there was payroll protection program or whatever the PPP loans were,
mhm,
would not be taxable income. I remember there being a question last year at the federal level. I think it was resolved to that anybody that had received a loan and it was forgiven, that would not be imputed as income on your tax returns. And it seems to me that this is reiterating that the best I can interpret this, but I want to make sure that that is being done.
that would be my understanding of it, and that's not really, following the same policy would not have a revenue impact on it because it's
Right.
only affecting that 1 year. So it's not like it affects all these years. It's just basically saying that,
Well, it doesn't have an effect to the state of Georgia because we're presuming it's not taxable
mhm,
in our, but it does to every single resident of Georgia that
they would have to
got
pay it.
such a loan and it's been forgiven. They're about to go pay more taxes if that's not the case.
Yeah.
And that's the third item down, the targeted economic injury disaster loan.
No, the third from the bottom is the one I'm looking at, or
Well,
it's way down there. Three.
Yeah, that one's the Paycheck Protection Program, but
oh, that's the disaster.
Yeah.
Economic injury disasters is the one that I was looking at.
and these programs don't go on forever. They're for a specific period of time, and we're just reiterating that we're following the federal program on those, and Senator Cowser is correct. They're not, when you're giving somebody disaster relief, we had assumed all along we wouldn't be taxing it. Any other questions?
Second.
Okay, we've got a second from Senator Albers now. That wasn't a question, like I misunderstood the other one to be. Any other discussion on this item? This says passed out of the House Ways and Means and come over to us and would go to the Senate floor, of course, and the governor at this point.
I have a question.
Okay.
The second from the bottom line, the 2020 retroactive revenue effect only includes combined pension items as noted above. Can you connect those dots?
Well, we're not really going back and changing anything in the past. So they did make a little bit of it retroactive, but we're going to 2021. If you look at it down this line, I mean, really, let's take the year, the big year of what it happens. There's the 2022, you see the minus 44.9. That's by accepting the federal rules that they put on childcare tax credit, which are a little bit more generous. The other items are really very insignificant. We assumed the same pension rules all along, so that's why there's not really anything noted in that. But if there's further questions, I'm sure we can get John Foster or somebody to address this. Senator Hickman, do you have a?
This is an eye, a real test.
It's
Is it better here?
yeah. Go ahead, Senator
No,
Hickman.
no. Yeah, what, Senator, what actually happened there, the other items are basic revenue generators for the state, small items. And the dependent care is a refund back to the taxpayer. So that they've actually taken the pension plan, as I understand, is pretty complicated, but they've actually slowed down how aggressive people are able to take their pension write-offs. And so by slowing it down, it's actually caused those people to have to pay a little more taxes. So the net effect is, as Chairman Hofstadter said, the net effect on those items is very, very small versus the big dependent care. And I would point out on the dependent care item that is whereas on the federal level, it's really a refundable credit. On the state level, Mr. Commissioner, it is actually stops at the tax level. It's not a refundable credit, correct?
All right. If there's no other questions, we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor of updating our code to match the feds and making the CPAs and software and Department of Revenue and everyone happy, including our own citizens, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed? It passes unanimously. We appreciate everybody being here. Certainly.
Reports in the news. From the department. What's going on with moving the federal dollars for renters and landlords? We're at the bottom of the list, as I understand, 48 information about moving this money into the pockets of landlords and renters that are impacted. It's this emergency rental. And what committees? Committee has jurisdiction over that.
Well, that would be for them to decide, the Committee on Assignments, to see where that would go to. So I'm not sure.
I just mean that area of concern, what the committee addresses it or oversees it, what, some logical place to.
I mean, I can.
There's not a bill out, but there.
Yeah, I mean, I can speculate, but I kind of hate to do that because it could fall into probably a couple of 3 areas.
Oh, I see what you're saying, that it could be a judgment call either way as to what committee. Oversight authority, because it does seem to, it looks like we're edging up on losing returning federal dollars instead of getting them into our economy. So you know, it's an opportunity for us to look at that and understand that. It's getting considerable press. And we've had, I don't know who was able to go this morning to Commissioner Young's briefing at 9 last minute, didn't have people on it. Now we've gotten another notice that's going to be the afternoon was that we do run concurrent because it's moved to another, has been delayed.
Okay.
New date.
Well, we'll wait for the completion of those and then see, what action we can take on those to make sure we get the federal dollars that we should get if we need to be getting them.
Well, we have
It-
them,
it's-
we have
it's
them
all-
out.
It's all I can, I'm just speculating without knowing the details on it. So anyway, we appreciate that. And there's no other questions. We are adjourned. Thanks everyone for coming.